All right, people. All right. All right. Right. It is Wednesday, and it is just a smidgen past our start time. And this evening, just want to say good evening and welcome to the Jamaica Mix program. Generally, we mix a little music with our discussion, but today we're going to just focus largely on the conversation. There are some issues that we really need to flesh out as we roll into what I love to refer to as the Jamaican political silly season. Now, as you will well know, that elections are on the way in Jamaica. It's not something that is going, it's coming. And then, of course, it will soon be gone. But elections are on the way. And, we tend to turn the place in a kind of a silly season, if you will, during that time. And so we want to focus our attention on some pressing issues that are out there. And as we head into this election season, if you will, my job is to bring the information and to promote the discussion. And at least for those who are a little out of touch, perhaps disconnected with what is the realities of what is going on back home in Jamaica, where we provide the kind of information that will promote meaningful discussion, meaningful dialogue. And so, again, just want to welcome you to the program. And also want to point out that if you want to participate, you can always, if you're on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, you can use the chat, or if you want to call in, the telephone number 954-274-8177. And let me just plug the phone in as we do that. You can call us on WhatsApp. Now, there are a couple of issues that are going the rounds as we get cracking here. And I'm going to focus on the first one. There is the makings of a scandal. Now, me know not a scandal promoting business, but at the same time, we'd be remiss if we don't put the information in front of the public. And so if you're in the diaspora, if you're even back home in Jamaica and you're able to tune into this program, what we try to do is to sort of set the record straight. Now, an item of news came across my desk over the course of the last 24 hours. And it spoke to an issue raised by none other, an issue that has become the cause for consternation, if you will, where apparently there is an item of a medical item was apparently bought by the or provided to the Bustamante Children's Hospital by the Southeast Regional Health Authority, and this was for a high-speed drill. Okay, and apparently there is some concern over the billing price of the drill relative to its actual cost on the one hand, and two, that in fact the person who raised the issue is Dr. Alfred Dawes, who himself is a candidate, and it's not because he is a candidate in the election, the thing for election. Just want to welcome 433 Presser on YouTube. Thanks for joining. And please share with your friend. Let's have a big discussion this evening, because this is a serious issue. Now, according to DAWS, a drill procured by the Southeast Regional Health Authority for the Bustamante Children's Hospital was significantly marked up in price. And I'm going to share some of that information, because I also took a little time to do a little research on the item. I mean, we're in an environment where we can check this thing out. Now, according to what the representations made by Alfred Dawes, during a press conference that he had yesterday, that was Tuesday, he revealed that he had requested that the Auditor General's Department take a look at this whole transaction, right? And according to him, and I'm going to share the article because his comments were reported by the Jamaica Observer for new information and news consumption. Dawes is alleging that there's a web of corruption relative to the $31 million being asked by the provider of this drill and to be paid for by the taxpayer, right? He according to him, this is it smells like corruption, right? He said that the procurement issue raises serious questions are being raised about the procurement process, claiming that the drill purchased for use at the Children's Hospital may have been a refurbished unit imported months earlier and at a fraction of the cost. According to customs documents presented by Dawes, 2 drills, let me move this over here. According to him, 2 drills of the same model were imported in November of 2024 at a declared value of 250,000 Jamaican dollars. And Dawes alleges that the company responsible for importing the equipment is owned by a government member. That's a heavy allegation or accusation, however you want to put it. Now, according to Dawes, this is not about politics. Not so sure about that. In this political silly season, stuff like this is going to be kicked around as politics. But I understand where he's coming from. He said, what could have possessed someone to spend $31 million on a drill that landed in Jamaica for under $300,000? He also questioned whether the drill now in use at the Bustamante Hospital is one of the 2 earlier imported units, and demanded transparency from the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA, which facilitated the purchase. He also claimed that the procurement process was manipulated to eliminate cost-effective alternatives, leaving medical staff with no real choice. Now, of course, Dawes is the PMP spokesman on health issues, right? And he made these allegations against the background of what he claimed was a systematic mismanagement by health authorities, citing repeated closures of operating theaters, shortage of ICU beds, and life-threatening delays in diagnostics and surgery at several hospitals across the island as consequences. If this is not evil, I don't know what it is. Dawes said this is a rapacious form of capitalism enabled by corruption, and it is being paid for in the blood of our children. Dr. Dawes presented 2 formal dossiers, one to the Auditor General, Ms. Pamela Monroe Ellis, and the other to the Integrity Commission Chairperson, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick, requesting full investigation into the procurement process for the drill. Now, let's go where the shit hits the fan. My bad. My English sometimes not all that great, right? But the point that, Dawes's point is, well, I have I can understand that. Now, apparently, there seems to be some questions as to the ownership. The company that seemingly procured these drills is a company called Medical Technologies Limited, and does seem to have done some degree, some amount of homework, because he went to the registrar company to check on the, if the company is registered, etc. So he was doing some due diligence to back up his allegation. Let me make this clear. Because I took some time to take a look at the drill, and because first of all, $31.1 million for a drill is a piss pot load of money, right? And whether the drill is the drill is new or not. I mean, $31 million. I'm just trying to bring up the actual, because I did pull up a photo of this thing. Let me see if I can get it here. That give me a little problem. Midas Technologies. Now I did some checks on the drill itself, right? And I looked at, well, first of all, there's a counter representation on the part of the principles of medical technologies, which aims it's almost an aim to shut down DAWs in terms of the claim that he's making. And they are contending that the purchase drill was overpriced. Well, let me see. Medical Technologies Limited is rejecting the claim that the drill was overpriced. And according to them, the equipment has not even been paid for by the government. So clearly they have delivered the drill, right? And the drill, they're not disputing the claim that DAWs make that the drill value $31.1 million. Now, may I try pull up the drill itself, because I did think, but the format with the photograph is giving me a little bit of a problem. But I went onto the provider website, right? The provider for the drill is a company called Medtronic Inc., right? And the drill comes in various denominations, right? And various pricing as well. Now, in the medical field, right? Especially countries like ours are not necessarily gonna buy a brand new drill like this, because typically, if you're buying something brand new like this, you're probably gonna be using some grant funding and money, in other words, some free money we can get from overseas entities, or through the diaspora, etc. Because the thing can be a little bit pricey, right? So, but in the market for stuff like this, the market for stuff like this is largely refurbished drills, and which is why I wanted to try to get the to get an image, a proper image of the thing. Now, I pulled up. Let me take the people's argument. Now, the company is claiming that the drill DAWs is referring to is actually the motor component of a drill. Medical Technologies listed what it describes as a series of truths in the statement, including that the drill referenced by DAWs in his press conference and the documents he showed represented the motor component of a drill owned by Medical Technologies purchased some years ago. It also noted that the motor component that DAWs is talking about is for the EM200 Legend stylus motor, which was sent to the US on the 26th of September last year for repairs. He said that the company is contending that the neurosurgical drill sold to Sierra is the new EM800 series drill and not the EM200 model. Very important that you guys pay attention to this. No. Why am I saying that? Because there are three different grades. The EM 800 drill that these guys are contending has a list price here in America of 15,000 US dollars. $15,000. Converted at an exchange rate of 160, that is going to be $2.4 million. This is not, now remember, this is not the drill where DAWs are talking about. No. This is the drill that these guys, the owners of medical technology, is preferring, that this is the drill that they have supplied the government or the Bustamante Children's Hospital is a EM 800 drill. May I quote it because may I look on the thing, a photograph of it. May I try to see if I can share that, which is a composite of various equipments, and it comes with a range of drill bits, different sizes and so on. But itself a 15,000 US dollars. Now you could also pick up a variation on this EM 800 drill where the price is going to range anywhere between 15,000, 19,000, and 25,000 United States dollars. $25,000. Now, 25,000 United States dollars converts to 4 million Jamaican. Now, let me make some stuff clear. Typically, with equipment such as this, there are breaks that the supplier is going to be given in terms of importing the item because of the nature. It only have one use, and the primary customer is the public hospital. So what the government would do is perhaps provide a waiver for the duty so that the final cost to the country is minimized. So even at using the highest priced drill, which have a list price of $25,000 US dollar, that drill would have land in a Jamaica for 4 million Jamaican dollars. Now, my arithmetic say, how do we move from 4 million landed, even if we put on an extra $500,000 for shipping, which is impossible because that no, it can't cost you $500,000 for shipping, right? It can sell for 31 million, right? And so Dawes' argument, even if people want to read it as political, is a serious claim and inquiry which is raised on the behalf of the taxpayers of Jamaica, right? Now, apparently, when Dawes went out and had his press conference, it looked like Dawes must have stepped on some man's toe, right? Because Dawes is also here, where he's talking about being threatened with lawsuit by Williams, who used to be the mayor of Kingston, because clearly, apparently, Dawes is making an argument that former councillor Williams is a party to the entity, and so here is Dawes speaking in a video that he shared on YouTube. Here we go. Let me fix that. Because Dawes is contending that that the Mr. Williams, who is threatening to sue him, don't have no leg for stand on, right? And so All right. So what Dawes is claiming, what Dawes is claiming is that Williams, who is a member of parliament, is apparently a connected person to this entity, right? And he, on his investigation of the transaction, what he's saying is that the 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 two drills came in at a price that under 2,000 US dollar, right, a piece. And he is contending that there is a, he's asking for an investigation to be done, to be conducted on these drills to see if it is a case where these drills that came in some time ago that the company cleared through customs um, for a price, an invoice price presented to customs. That's the value of the invoice presented to customs showed that the items were priced at under 2,000 US dollars a piece. A far cry from the numbers when we just represented 15,000, 19,000, 25,000. So may I use the higher figure? Now, Dawes' argument is it a case that they are presenting these drills for the 31.1 million Jamaican dollar? Because the 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 difference when you look at, there's a far jump from 1,600 US, right? 1,600 US is just about 250,000 Jamaican dollar, right? And so if something costs you $250,000, even if the government customs mark it up 100% as the duty, so them say them a charge you 100% duty on the invoice value of the drill, right? That still is only 3,000 United States dollars, or a price of $500,000. So how do you move from a cost of $500,000 to bill the taxpayers of Jamaica for $31 million? And I believe that that is a reasonable question for anybody who is concerned about Jamaica, whether you are like a barefoot man out a road or you are a prospective political candidate, right? It is a reasonable question to be asked. And I believe that every single Jamaican who are bust them ass and pay taxes so that these politicians can walk away with 28 and 30 million dollar salary, right? Plus car and house and all them kind of thing there. While the little people them were earn them little 15 and $20,000 a week, right? Businesses were struggle to keep them doors open, and the government have raked the taxes from these people so that those politicians, right, and them political connections can live big life. Our problem in Jamaica is a serious one, and we should not allow that, because we are approaching the political silly season, that we have this kind of situation swept under the carpet to give the people the impression that, oh, I just politics the man mama out there. This is a simple, it may seem simple enough, but you imagine that an item, I may use the highest price, right? That can me do my little research on this thing, right? And my research shows that the item at the topmost price is 25,000 United States dollars. That's what it would have sell for. And again, even if you bring it down to think, but them they are not the price for them are talk about in the conversation, right? Because the company that supplied the thing to the Southeast Regional Health Authority they're not contesting the 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 the, the invoice price for them build the country for. But neither are they explaining the basis on which they arrived at that kind of selling price, given the price for the item in a Jamaica. This is not an item that attracts 100% or a 200% duty. And my sense is that when you are providing equipment to public facilities like hospitals in Jamaica, invariably you can apply for a waiver of the duty so that the taxpayers don't foot an overly enormous bill, right? So the point I'm making is that chances are this drill is coming in and it don't attract no duty. So how you get to a price of $31 million? And I believe that is a reasonable argument that that Dawes is making. Again, me no hold no brief for no politician. Me no really care who is who or what or what. My concern is about equity and transparency. Now, the minute you put something in front of the public, out in the public space, to do what these guys, them are opposition. Them are look to see if them can get the work for govern the country next time around. But the reality and the truth is that they're doing what they are required by the canons of the office that governs the opposition party. Them are do what they're supposed to do, and that is to provide exposure to the people of Jamaica as to these instances. And there's more. The issue of bringing the matter to the Integrity Commission is equally significant. Already we have, if I'm not mistaken, a clutch of some 6 or so members of the House of Representatives, the Parliament, who are embroiled in an unsatisfied issue with the Integrity Commission. Now, we have to make a decision as a country as to whether or not we are a country governed by laws, and as such that the people who have accepted these responsibilities as participants in the government recognize that they have a responsibility to the oath that they swore and the people that they swear to serve, to provide the utmost transparency. A lot of this thing has been kicked about. We have a situation where we have a prime minister who for there are 2 or 3 years of his statutory declarations that cannot be signed off on. And, this thing has been traversed over the years, and people are, the administration is behaving as if it is not important. It is fundamentally important. You can't have people earn $2-3 million a year but live in a $100 million house, and them never have no dead left money, right? Them never win the lotto, or them no follow, but them no have no business where them come from. But that them could have said, we earned our millions out of our business activity prior to coming into politics. It is important that these questions are answered, because we live in a world where influence peddling is a significant thing. Influence peddling is a significant thing. People will pay money to politicians, whether them are MPs or them are local government councillors, elected people. People will pay them money, will help them to get elected, so that when the time comes and there is a break to be made, they swing that in their favor. So in other words, these are people, the politicians, if you're not careful, they are selling access, right? And so the one thing we don't want, or you should not be comfortable with as a Jamaican, is that our politicians are available for sale at a price. And this is the reason behind these integrity commission issues. I don't care who it is, right? Me, would I go into politics? No, because I don't. I'm not a man who answer question to anybody. Me don't want to be in a position where me have to answer certain types of questions. So because of that, me not put myself in a position for that happen to me. But the minute you decide to make yourself available for this kind of public office, you are subject to that scrutiny, right? And it is important that as a country that we know who belongs to what and where and why for. So if it's a case where the particular company here, medical technology, it is important that we take a look, lift up the covers to see who its participants are. Is there a case where there are shareholders on that company's paper registration documents that are just proxies for people who are in government, and so those proxies are holding the shares on behalf of these government officers? Our problem in Jamaica is that we are not a country that invested in keeping our population particularly intelligent, informed, the best of schooling. And so critical thinking is lacking on our part. And most people don't have any serious understanding of the implications of situations like this to the larger economic and national security interests of your country. We don't know. For all intent and purposes, a man down in Jamaica where a smuggling gun and a smuggling a transact business with cocaine traffickers and things. And because him have the money, him can provide funding for the campaign of a politician. And when that politician wins that seat and now have, position within the administration, that person is beholden to the person who paid for his entry into the politics, right? And if that person who spent that money is one who is involved in all kind of nefarious activity, it is inimical to the national security interests of the country, right? And these are the reasons why we need to know. And so to come back to this drill discussion, right? We need to get an understanding of where this where the line is going to be drawn on as far as this thing is concerned. Is it a case where we need to see the invoice for the drill? We need to see the purchase orders that were struck. We want to see if there was a competitive bidding process, if the purchase was subject to a competitive bidding process. You need to know that, right? So that the minute the invoice comes across the desks of the people who are involved with this thing, they at the very least them know say why this thing was done properly, right? And so this is what is important, right? And these are questions that we should be asking ourselves. We should be ensuring that those people who wish to represent the country as politicians, that them are toe the line, that no honky ponky, no untoward activity is involved. That we know everybody who is involved. We know where them come from, what them up to, right? And so here is a photograph of the drill itself. This is what the drill that is being questioned looks at. This is a drill with all of the components, right? All the components are now here. And so this is at the highest price, the highest value for this drill based on what I'm seeing here for the same Medtronic neurological drill. The highest price is 25,000 United States dollars, right? And so this is what the country is being asked to pay $31.1 million for, right? And it's important that people know these things, because if you don't know and if you're not interested, what you do is leave the door wide open so that people can just walk in and just take up anything when they want. The resources of the country, the taxpayers who are bust them ass for try, for, you know, every week, every month, them paid, get them taxes. You know, companies who are struggle, but them still have pay them taxes. And then you have two little criminal, if you will, who claims that them a politician, who set up them friend them, right? To live high off of the hog of the taxpayers. So an item that value less than 10% of the cost that you pay, the country is paying 10 times that for it. And these people will walk away and go buy $60 million Mercedes Benz with taxpayers' money with them teeth, right? Transparency. Now, if you don't have nothing to hide, when people turn on the flashlight or the floodlight for you, you don't have nothing to hide, so you show them what you have, right? Let us address this issue with the transparency that it deserves. Because if it is, right, if it is a case where does argument no make no sense, right? If that is the case, let us subject the thing to some investigative examination, right? Let us, $30 million is worthwhile take a look at, especially if you could have paid under 10% of the 30 million for the item, and the people that were supplied still make a piss pot load of money. But what you need is not somebody who will make 100%. People want to make 1,000%, 2,000% on an item. And who pay for it? The taxpayer, right? This is the problem with Jamaica. We're a country that we don't have enough money to stop a stale bread cat, right? But we can pay our politician them $20 and $30 million a year, plus give them car, phone, where them no have to pay the bill because the taxpayer pick up all of that. So the man, no wonder the man no want to give up the political office, you know. The man want to be in the government for life. Because if you are earn them kind of money, and plus you have the public pen where you can raise your pay tomorrow morning again, and not a goddamn soul say anything. Jamaica people talk about it for 5 minutes and gone. And you're gone with the bag. Right? Me not say that politicians who run government must earn chop and the money. But we need to see where you are to fit. Right? Jamaica languishing at the bottom of the economic performance ladder. Right? We have the lowest per capita GDP outside of Haiti. Right? In the English speaking Caribbean and Central America. Right? We have the lowest per capita GDP. Our belly is better than we. Right? And it is not a case that Jamaica necessarily broke. What Jamaica do is that we squander the resources that we have. And so for this particular reason, I honestly welcome Dawes' turning on the searchlight on this thing. Yeah, is it politics? We're not going to pretend that it isn't. Absolutely. Right? because it's the political season. But be that as it may, it doesn't change the fact that as Jamaicans, we need to know. Think about that. Think about it, right? Think about, how much better we could be as a country if we never have these issues where everything is a big hullabaloo. Nobody no want to be subject to the truth, if you will. Nobody, right? Nobody wants to be answerable, right? People want to take the work as political representatives, but them don't want to be accountable to the people, right? And so it begs the question, I posted on Facebook, who are the beneficial owners of Medical Technologies Limited? A reasonable question. What is the issue with respect to this drill? And why would a drill that have a Jamaican dollar $250,000 cost, that's the landed cost into Jamaica, be resold for 31.1 million, right? Beyond just ripping off the people of Jamaica, right? What is so difficult about the providers of the product or service being transparent, or that people are insisting on transparency with respect to the transaction? The only reason why people would want to make an issue out of being transparent on this thing, or to withhold the information, not have a public discussion on it, is if you have something to hide, right? Is either that or you're complicit in terms of the genesis of the problem, right? Who are these people working for ultimately? If it is a case where Mr. Williams is a beneficial owner of the entity, he is in breach of the public trust. Simple, right? And an investigation is quite in order. My thoughts. Let me hear what you guys think about the meeting. This is a issue. It not gonna go away. It's gonna be there. And before we get to that, let me just plug this. This is a little thing. Here we go. Because we have some stuff we do right now. I want to just use the opportunity to thank people who have joined us on the various platforms. Although it's been a little silent, I know a little quiet, but I see where a number of people are on. And I take it you guys join because you just want to have the information, right? Well, let me do a little something like this. Just want to talk quickly about the launch of my book here, Sheila 2.0 Unbroken. This publication hit the streets just a week ago, and I want to say thanks to the people who have so far picked up an autographed copy. And here
Sheila Salmon sat by the window of her Constant Spring Road office, overlooking the bustling mix of foot and vehicular traffic in the streets below. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden hue over the city that had been her home all her life. She traced the rim of her coffee cup with her finger, lost in thought. The decision before her was monumental: how to make the best use of the proceeds of the monetary settlement that she had received. By any stretch of the imagination, this was a huge amount of money, opening her third designer clothing store in a city where dreams were more often deferred than realized. Her thoughts wandered back to that fateful day at Outpost and Company Limited, where she had worked diligently for years. The internal legal issues for which she had almost no involvement had been presented as the reason for her dismissal. Her attorneys were able to put the pieces together and determined the real reason the company had found itself out on a slender limb and needed a scapegoat, And while the just 7.6 million settlement she had received after legal expenses was substantial, it had come at a high emotional cost.
All right, so there you have it. This is just a little tidbit there, a little excerpt from the new novel, Sheila 2.0. Of course, this novel is part 2 to another novel that I had written some years back called Sheila, the Girl from the Lane. And you can pick this up on our website. If you're on the site now watching us, you can just scroll over to the shop where you'll be able to pick up these books. If you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, just send me an instant message. Both novels are just about 300 pages. Sheila, the Girl from the Lane, really speaks to a young Jamaican girl coming out of the inner city area and the struggles she had to go through to find her way. The second novel, Sheila 2.0, is now having found her way. She has set her sights on bigger things, and this 2.0 speaks about her growth, her expansion of her business, how she the challenges she still had to deal with in terms of raising her family, and just to make a space for herself in a very unforgiving Jamaican social and economic environment. So, go out there, pick it up, and I look forward to sharing more of this kind of stuff with you guys. Before we close out, just want to bring to people's attention, we are still at it, if you will. The past couple of weeks, we've been dealing with a pretty tough topic, the issue of the Jamaican police and the killings. The police has been responsible for taking out some 100, in fact, now it's about 132 people killed by the police since the start of the year. And, it is not that I have an issue with the police killing criminals. I just believe that, there are ways to go about dealing with stuff like this. Somebody, you have information, why not let us use the courts to deal with this thing? Yes, if people, engage the police, most definitely, police need to defend themselves. Am I happy with the associated decrease in the murder rates in Jamaica? Blissful, not just happy. I am blissful, right? But at the same time, I have lived long enough to know that, to be able to identify that we are treading some very dangerous waters. Jamaica is a very small place, and typically that 130 people that the police has killed since the beginning of the year, that is usually the annualized number of people killed by the police over a 12-month period in Jamaica. Might I also point out to you, my listeners, viewers, that typically that 130 odd people killed represents 0.003, almost 0.004%, right? In other words, what we are doing is we are killing on an average or at a rate, or police killing is 15 times. Well, in fact, where we are now, we're about 19 times higher than the same rate, than the kill rate of police here in the United States of America. We are ahead of the police kill rate in Brazil, which runs at somewhere of about 12 per 100,000, right? that we are running way above that, right? And so it is important that as a population we pay attention to that. I am not saying, I know the police have a tough friggin' job to deal with, but there are horses and horses. And is it that we are trying to kill our way out of the problem? Because there is a cutoff point at which this thing don't work anymore. We've been down this road before. And so while I am with the police about getting rid of these criminals, I would have rather that we exercise greater restraint and try to bring some of these people. I don't believe that all 130 odd people killed by the police engage them in a shootout. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they engage the police they challenge the police, as the police reports are always prepared to say. I know that to a large extent, Jamaica people, there are some of us who just absolutely stupid, but I don't think them is that stupid that them can't see that what is happening here is that the police is on a roll, right, for eliminating things. And yes, we want to, if where possible, eliminate some of the criminals. But and their argument is, when you talk to them off the record, them say, boy, sometimes the money you capture them, you carry them go to jail and them get bail, and the system let them go. Them come right back. Maybe what we need to do is to fix the system. We need to fix the legal system, the court system, make it, increase the potential or the possibility for people to have a speedy trial, right? It makes no sense. We have somebody on a charge and 10, 12 years and the case not come in front of the court, right? So these are some of the issues that I believe that we need to pay close attention to, right? I see where the Jamaicans for Justice people is calling for them to deploy a portion of the 1,000 body-worn cameras being procured to officers for use in planned tactical operations. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that request. And for those people who beat up on the Jamaicans for Justice, I am neither a supporter or a fan of what they are, but I recognize the value that them represent to everyday Jamaicans, right? If you remember, this is the same administration who, declared a number of back-to-back states of emergency that the constitutional courts have now ruled that those were unconstitutional. And so it's clear that we don't have the toolbox to sufficiently address our crime problem. Is it too late? Are we still able to learn? Those are some very significant questions. But, want to big up the police nonetheless, doing a damn good job. The realization that in last month, only must about 43 or 46 people lost their lives as a result of criminal activity. And I think 2 months before that, the numbers were about the same. So technically, we are heading in the right direction. My caution, though, you can't kill your way out of a problem. There is need to look at more medium to long-term solution that will remove people, remove the target group as remove them from this criminal connection, right? By providing better opportunities. I'm not charged with the responsibility to fix it, but at the very least, I think we can engage each other with these discussions, right? And so, let's hopefully we can find a workaround. Just before I go, let me just again raise this. My novel, Unbroken, Sheila 2.0. This is now available for purchase, and you can pick up a copy by just clicking on our website, or you can click on the link if you're on YouTube, or you can just simply send us a message. You can message us on YouTube or on Facebook. The website again, www.yardmedia, that's YAAWD, yardmedia.com. That's all the time we have for this evening. It has been a pleasure again. Just want to say thanks to those who took the time out of the afternoon to join us with this monologue, I have to call it that. And again, join us again next week, Wednesday, when we do it all over again, right? Again, if you're on the site, just check out the website and see if every day is somebody's birthday. Every day is a celebration. And so, we have some nice gifts. But in the meantime, grab a copy of Sheila and Unbroken. I am certain that you're going to be glad that you did, right? And so, until next week, Wednesday, again, Jagai. Blessing.